So here I am to talk objectively about a game that I'm a huge fan of. Be ready for a lot of "this is bad, but in defense of the game" statements. I don't really know where to start for this one. If I'm going to be objective, then the game is rather plain. Not bland and uninteresting, just average. The story's a bit engaging, but the main character is unlikable as hell, and the combat system's a mess that not even the most obsessive compulsive cleaner could tidy up. Yet I and many other people still love this game. But why? I think it's the potential that the game has on display. The game has a depth to it that few other games nowadays have. A simple turn-based game in line with Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy, but with so much more underneath the hood than the basic characters taking turns to punch each other that make up most JRPGs. And the world was built up quite well. Sure, you could replace remnants with any number of powerful artifacts, spirits, or deities that other games have used to fill a similar role in their narrative, and the story ultimately boils down to the usual JRPG theme of killing God, but, number one, it was a well-crafted world overall. The graphics are, for the most part, nothing spectacular to look at. They're fine, really, for back in the day, but the upgrade from Unreal 3 to 4 didn't make much of a difference if you ask me. Still looks just as fine, I guess. Sure, there are some animation hiccups, I even pointed a few of them out when I saw them in game, and there are other times where the graphics don't fully render in, which makes it feel like you're looking at a splash of gray and brown through incorrect prescription glasses for a few seconds. But, number two, graphics really don't matter. And that goes for any game. Aesthetics are what really matter, and The Last Remnant has decent aesthetics. Most of it fits really well. The only thing I can really think of are the menu bars are a little off-putting for the particular past/future fantasy game, or at least this particular past/future fantasy game. I'm sure in an actual Final Fantasy game it would look a little more in place, but this one doesn't count. I digress. I said earlier that the story is plain, and in all honesty it is. But, and this time we're on number 3, I can forgive that a little bit anyways, because the game isn't trying to be the next Shakespearean epic, it's trying to tell an easy-to-swallow story that will allow you to focus on learning the depths of its complex machine that is its combat system. No, that doesn't really excuse the lack of story. Dark Souls showed us that you can have complex mechanics and storytelling in one. In their defense, sure, let's just call this one number 4. They did try to break from some of the classic tropes, albeit after they fell into some of them, such as Irina being a damsel in distress, only to demand to join the party and not be a liability. Though if you watch my playthrough, an argument can be made that she was still somewhat of a liability. Sadly, even though they tried to add a few twists and turns, such as the idea that remnants can take the form of humans, it's so heavily foreshadowed that it would have been more of a shock if Rush wasn't a remnant. Spoiler alert for those of you who watch this review and not the Let's Play. But it all comes down to the combat. The system is so intricate and deep that I'm still learning new things about it on my 6th playthrough, and that's the beauty of it. A lot of reviews I've seen complain about how the combat isn't straightforward enough, and in fairness, that's a complaint that I have to get behind. The combat isn't exactly straightforward, and the tutorials aren't the most helpful. They could definitely buff those up a little bit and add some polish to help get people through the earlier parts of the game. Some of the options you're given don't allow you to do the things you want to do, and as a player, that is the most frustrating thing in the world, especially when the game punishes you so hard for making mistakes. But that's why this system needs to be revived. Oh, you can go ahead and count that but, I guess, as number 5. Sure, let's do that. It needs attention that will help fix these problems and make this system something great that can be used in future games. I don't really have much more to say about the game other than that. Beneath its hideous and unforgiving exterior beats the heart of a truly great game, and I'm glad it got a remaster, a second chance to get noticed, and I hope someone out there does see the potential that it has on display, and gives us, and the combat system, the game we deserve.